So, who are you and what do you do?
Uh, my name is Jeff Luther. I live in what is today sunny Roswell, Georgia. I work for an organization named Aaron's Incorporated. Aaron's has 1,200 stores across the country, servicing people with rent to own or lease to own options for merchandise that they will need in order to do living, I guess, at this point in time. My title is Director of Human Resource Technology at Aaron's. I am responsible for all of the technology that the HR team uses at Aaron's and supporting it. So that would include procuring technology as needed, consulting with them as needed on the technology concerns that they have or needs that they might have, and then supporting the technology and everything that is in place for the human resource team. So we use a variety of software to support our HR team. So my team has to touch any number of different types of software services or vendors in order to make sure that our HR team is working the way that we need them to. So,
And you have a very unique background in terms of how you got into HR. So, can you tell us the story of how you were able to make that transition to HR and how your previous experience is helping you with your current role?
got it. Well, my background is even more unique than that. So I actually started out in college getting degrees in philosophy and theology and ending up in ministry to begin with. And that's how I started my career. And then eventually took that experience and joined an organization and became a member of their human resource staff. I was actually hired as a director of human resources at a small liberal arts college in Iowa. And so that was really my first foray into all things human resources. So I got a good grounding in what human resource administration was, what it needed to do, and managed really all of the functions because it was I guess it was really one person, myself, who was responsible for all of the HR activity at the organization or at the school. And so got familiar with it and actually, ironically, ended up buying my first little inexpensive piece of technology to be able to track and maintain records on all of the employees that worked for the institution. It wasn't a big institution, so it wasn't a big buy. It didn't take a lot of effort. But from there, I ended up with my then wife moving to Washington D.C. and became employed at a variety of organizations in the Washington D.C. area, all principally around either HR administration or benefits administration and benefit management. So I worked for different organizations, either as a vice president of human resources, HR director, benefit director, benefit manager in various organizations, getting pretty familiar with all things HR. Some of the organizations in HR I worked in, varied in size from a person or two up to 15 or 20 people, depending on how big the organization was. And then while I was in Washington, I ended up meeting someone who was helping me procure some new benefit vendors for the organization I was working at. And there was this new phenomenon. This is back in the 1990s that you began to hear more and more about. Large organizations were doing it, smaller ones weren't, and that had to do with a benefit administration outsourcing. So how do I take the benefit administration of our employees with all of their questions and needs and hand that off to a third party to help us be able to manage that interaction with our employees? Because in an HR team, you're not really designed to do that kind of work. And so my friend and I began putting together a business on all things HR administration and benefit administration outsourcing. And we put together an organization which required me then to get into the technology because I had to figure out what was the platforms we were going to use in order to do this kind of support, from finding the right different phone systems to HR systems to track people's salary and payroll and et cetera, et cetera. So I got very involved in all of that at this particular organization, and eventually moved on to some other ones that were doing similar type works, got very involved in what I would call HR operations and benefit process outsourcing. So a lot of it was in that area. So some of it was managing people and process. Others was also beginning to understand and managing and procure some of the technology we needed in order to support our various customers, some of which were maybe using some of the same platforms that we were buying. And then eventually I was hired at a place called the Coca-Cola Company, where I was hired as a person responsible for all of the technology for a segment of the our HR team. So any interaction they needed with the IT team inside of Coca-Cola, it was my responsibility to help the HR team find what they needed. So because I was already well grounded in HR and knowing what their needs were, it didn't take much for them to come to me, help me understand what it was they needed, so that I could put them in touch with the right people inside of the IT department to get their answers resolved, or to help them find and procure not only different IT solutions, but also to help them build potential applications in different platforms like Salesforce and other things, in order for them to be able to manage the people the way that they wanted. And then from there, I moved into my current role here at Aaron's. And so it started out HR administration, benefit administration, moved into HR operations, which had a growing component for technology, especially with the onset of the internet, and then ultimately really full-time into IT and HR. So.
And then when we look at this career progression, you're picking up different skills along the way. And can you talk about some of the skills that you may use on a daily or weekly basis that enable you to be successful with what you do?
Sure. Certainly, some of the skills I actually earned early on, and some people may chuckle at, what did you ever do with that philosophy and theology degree that you got, Jeff? I mean, how do you use that? And I will tell them I use that every day, because it helps me, especially from a systems standpoint and understanding how systems work, and especially in an IT arena and for a large organization, that discipline from philosophy really helped me understand how these larger systems can work, what they need to do, and then how they work even in larger organizations. And so it's enabled me to take some of the information I get from the HR team, where they have a limited appreciation or understanding of what technology needs to do for them, and to be able to extrapolate from what little information I can get from them into a solution that actually works for them. So I use that kind of stuff on a regular basis. The other thing that I do is just, hanging out in an IT organization. Now, don't come to me and ask me to fix your computer. That's not what I do. I help people identify large systems and deploy those systems inside of organizations, and then manage and support them. So a lot of the critical thinking and other things that I acquired early on in my career, and especially probably through some of the college and graduate work that I did, helps me be able to synthesize a lot of information from my HR team, understand what they need, allows me to do the analysis and stuff that's required, so that I can help make the kind of recommendation they need for the system or the technology that they might need to have. And being in the technology space, the nice thing is that I'm not intimidated when I sit down and talk to a DBA or somebody who might write code or something else. I've been able to pick up that language and those skills, and be able to help translate that for the HR team. So it really allows me to take some pretty technical information that I've gotten from obviously from my technical or development teams and others, and be able to put that into a language that my HR users can consume, and then help them make the decisions that they need to make. And that's a skill that has worked a great deal at the different places that I'm at, especially when I'm dealing with folks where you say technology and they want to turn tail and run, because they're either intimidated by it or put off by it because they're not sure what's going to happen, or afraid that somebody in my position might talk a lot of technical jargon at them that does them no good whatsoever, because they're never going to be able to make a decision on that. But what I help them to do is really translate the world of IT into a world that they use day to day, and help them understand how that technology can help them do what they need to do.
It's such an important role to provide clarity there. And, like you said, you're working with one of the hardest audiences to do it with. So it takes a lot of learning on how to do that well. And while you're doing that, there's tools that you're also using to make your job easier. Can you talk about some of your favorite HR tools and how they enable you to be more successful within your role?
Well, that's an interesting question because when I and maybe it's just the way I think about it. So when I think of my HR tools, I'm thinking principally of some of the different HR systems that we use. Um, I'm not the one that actually uses them a lot. It's my HR team that uses them. What I do is to help them understand how to use it, what it's used for, and how to get as much out of it as they can get out of it. The tools that I tend to use are a lot of the same tools that everybody else uses, including my HR team, which is everything from email to spreadsheets and to Word documents and presentations and other sorts of things, all of which are tools that I use on a day-to-day basis as I'm interacting with either the HR team or my own team or people inside of the technology department as well. So those are the kind of tools I typically use and rely on a regular basis. But as far as specific HR tools, because they're there for a specific purpose, where I use them like any other manager inside of my organization might use them. So those aren't the ones that I get the biggest bang for my buck out of. It's more the same tools that everybody uses. I just might use them differently because I understand better how to use the technology and other things, and therefore can use the communication skills that I've developed to help other people understand and then be able to leverage that too. So.
That makes a lot of sense. And then with your unique background, I'm thinking that you also have this unique perspective on where the future of HR is going. Now, a lot of things have happened within HR over the last 10 years. So we have social media, we have just over the last year with COVID happening and people moving to more remote workforce, as well as the rise of analytics in the workplace. Can you talk about where you see the future of HR going?
Well, I suspect, like with many other things in business at this point in time, there'll be a greater and greater reliance on artificial intelligence, machine learning, and and technology. I get concerned that what I think is important about an HR organization is that personal touch that you have with the people that are doing the work that they're doing. Aaron's like many other organizations, went 100% remote virtually a year ago, and we haven't been back to the office since. And so, and discovered that, at least from a technology standpoint, we've been able to function pretty well at a pretty high level, so that there's not this great urge to get everybody back in the office. But for some of the HR functions, it's really important for face-to-face contact and other things. So like I mentioned, Aaron's has 1,200 stores. We've got HR business partners out in the field who manage, 10 or 15 stores, but are constantly interacting then with general manager of the store or some of the store employees and other sorts of things. Because Aaron's, like many other retail organizations, has a fairly high turnover rate, and so it requires a fair amount of engagement in all of that. So when I think of the future, I think of analytics, I think of artificial intelligence. I've been in this career long enough to watch things go from we consolidated everything into one big system and managed everything, and then we went out and bought best of breed solutions, and so every piece of my HR team had a different solution and whatever else. And now we're back to all of it's in one system again, and with all of the different functions and stuff there. What I expect to see happen from some of the technology is there's going to eventually end up being, I think, more of a development around what you experience from the App Store or the Google Store, where you've got all of your core data and everything is stored in one particular place. But depending on the features and functions that you may need as an HR person, you're going to be able to buy different applications that are going to plug into that data, so that you then can do the kind of work and stuff that you need to do. And as a part of all of that, you'll have the analytics and stuff that you're going to need, and potentially the artificial intelligence that's going to be really important in helping them understand what those analytics mean, and watching how people work and function, so that they can either engage people differently than what they do today, or or enable different tools and other things that allow the individual employee to do more work, better work, more efficient work, and et cetera. So that's sort of what I see in the horizon.
And as industries continue to change, we're going to see new hurdles that come up in the workplace. Now, many of the people who are watching this video are interested in getting into the technology side of HR. What are some problems that are commonplace within working inside the technology area of HR that you face, as well as the solutions to solve them?
Well, as one of my favorite philosophers used to say, a small mistake in the beginning can lead to a big mistake in the end. And so it's really important to understand what the need is from an HR perspective. How am I going to be able to do what I'm doing? How is this function evolving? What is expected of me to be able to do these sorts of things? And then to be able to have the ability to translate that into technical terms, technical requirements, and other things to be able to take what the HR team envisions as an idea or a vision for how they want to be able to do things and actually translate it into something that's useful and usable. So we don't do a lot of development at Aaron's, and for the HR team, it's really very limited development that we do. Most of the time, it's procuring tools, enabling tools, integrating tools so that people can do the things that they need to do. I'm trying to remember your question again, so that I go down the right path.
So common hurdles and solutions within the technology side.
Well, understanding, I think, is one of them. Translating it into meaningful terms and understanding so that you can find the right tools. Not getting locked into a tool set that's going to make it difficult for you either to work or to migrate off of it if you need to. Money is obviously always going to be an issue. How do I pay for the things that I'm going to do and make all of that stuff happen? So those are the things that I think most organizations end up struggling with even today and well into the future as well. But it's going to become more and more important because technology is not going to become diminish in any way, shape, or form. It's just going to become more and more a part of people's lives. And so, some of the things today, even with COVID, and it's how do I track people that have been vaccinated? How do I track people who have a positive test and other sorts of things? I'm going to guess that COVID isn't going to be the last pandemic that we're going to be facing here in the foreseeable future. But you never know what's going to come your way, because nobody here on this video or whoever watches this video would have predicted what the past year was going to be like and what it meant, and then how you had to adapt in order to make that happen. I think as technology still becomes more and more important and virtual is more and more a part of what's going on, I think what becomes really critical and difficult is how people in our world, because in my case, I get paid well enough, I have access to resources and other things, that there's a lot of people at Aaron's who don't make nearly as much money as I make, would struggle to be able to get their hands on. And those are some of the hurdles, I think, that we're going to have to overcome. So whether it's, everything in our organization gets run off of one of these devices or something else, I'm not sure, but I do think that's going to be something that they're going to struggle with, not only access to tools, but to bandwidth and other sorts of things, especially as you get into various parts of our country where those tools are just not readily available. So.
Yeah, it's very interesting how the world is changing with technology, and it's like we struggle continuously to keep up, and we don't have a choice but to keep up. Now, some of the people watching this video are making a decision of whether to get into the technology side of HR. What are some signs that it may be right for them?
Signs. That's sure what I would look for. I think if you have a genuine interest in technology and how it works and functions, I think is an indication you might be interested. If you find out, so like there's some people on the HR team that I can point to that are always the go-to people as sort of subject matter experts. that really want to dig into the technology. We just launched a new application, a new human capital management system at Aaron's, and I've already got 3 or 4 people inside of the HR department that just love to dig in and understand how to use the tool, what it can do, what it can't do, and those sorts of things. That's probably a pretty good sign you might be a person that's interested in technology and HR technology, and how you make that happen in an organization, how you support it and maintain and administer it. I suspect that's probably the most, when I think about it, the clear sign that somebody might be a good person to be getting into HR and technology. And how you get into it. I mean, you could be also in an IT organization someplace, doing what they're doing, and you discover that you enjoy the human side of things, if you will, and working with a human resource department, whatever else, it would also pull you into it. When I think of the people on my team that work for me, one of the persons that came to me spent a lot of their time working for various vendors, deploying HR technology. So for him, it was just a natural fit, obviously, because he'd been in and doing it. For others, they came in through our National Service Center. These are folks that are hired, pretty much right out of school and whatever else, and are there to support people and how they use they call in because they can't get to an application, or the password needs to be reset, or whatever else. And so at least 2 or 3 folks on my team came to me because they started out life there and found that they were interested in bigger systems and not necessarily in HR in general, but maybe HR. And so they joined the team and have become a part of it. I had other people that started out life in like my payroll department, where they managed and worked on payroll for a long period of time, discovered that they really liked reporting or some facet of what they're doing, and really started to dig into it. And so that led them down a path to an IT. And so that's how one of the people on my team got on my team as well. So I think that pretty well outlines, I guess, at least at this moment, how I think about, how or why I might end up in HR and HR technology in particular. So
I think that makes a lot of sense when you outline those career paths. Now, before we hop, is there anything else that you want to tell the people watching who are interested in breaking into the technology side of HR?
Well, I would say, because I've been doing this now for 20 years, I've never had a dull day in my life. There's always something that you're chasing. There's a problem that has to be addressed, an issue that needs to happen, technology that needs to be identified, or whatever. So if you have an interest in technology, and you have an interest in how that's applied in a specific business function, then I would encourage you to take the path. I don't think there's a place to go and get an education to prepare you specifically for HR technology. You're just going to get a general either technology background, or you may be somebody that went and got a business or an HR training or whatever else, and just found that you had a certain interest in technology that pulled you in. So in my case, it was just ultimately watching the world unfold, seeing all of this new technology, wondering how you could leverage it to do certain things, sort of getting bit by that bug, and then finding myself into doing what I'm doing today. So.
And if students want to connect with you, can they connect with you on a place like LinkedIn?
They absolutely can.
If you're watching this video, the chances are that Jeff's LinkedIn URL will be in the description below. You can click through and connect with him there. And just thank you for watching today. Thank you, Jeff, for being on this interview. Really appreciate your time, and we'll go from here.
You're welcome. Have a great day.